CG Tour leaderboard. We know what the boss is capable of. We'll see if Harrison Edwards can stop him. He's playing a Naya mid-range deck. Now, powerful cards, no doubt about it, but can he cast his cards fast enough to be able to beat Tom?
Yeah, he's got a whole mess of Planeswalkers here in this deck. I'm looking at Nissa, Arlen Cord, Gideon, Chandra, and Nahiri. So he's got everything, but the question is, can he keep up?
You want to talk about a card that's fallen flat? Arlen Cord. I almost forgot that card existed. I kind of saw it on Star City yesterday. And I was like, oh, I guess I should read this. I forgot that this was even a thing. As Edwards is on a mulligan to 5, unfortunately for him.
Yeah. So Arlen Cord is...
It's good.
Limited all-star.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good card. It just hasn't found a home yet.
Just at 4 mana, it's not quite aggressive enough for the aggressive decks, and it's not quite impactful enough when it comes down for the controlling decks.
You know, one of the nice things about getting to watch Tom Ross play, a lot of nice things, but, you know, he'll basically guarantee you're going to get a second match in.
Yes.
Yes. If we're looking to get a backup match in, you start with Tom Ross, for sure.
It doesn't matter what the format is.
No, never. Never. You're going to get another match in. Tom off to a great start here. He's got a Dragon Hunter. That's a 3-2 thanks to Thalia's Lieutenant. For Harrison, he's got a Sylvan Advocate, and he will pass the turn back over to Ross, who's going to quickly untap. You see the 2 lands out there, Battlefield Forge in hand. See if he's got any way to make these humans larger.
And this is important for Harrison to get something onto the board on turns 2 and 3.
Here's a 3-man Inspector. Clue coming. Battlefield Forge. Another Thalia's Lieutenant.
Oh, mama.
Yeah. Humans is going to work. Means Tom Ross is going to work. And this is the thing that's so nice about this deck. Sylvan Advocate's a heck of a defender. But on this board, it's nothing.
It can't even trade with either of these attackers.
Yep. It's tough. You take a look at humans and you think about how many good cards are in this deck. You know, Thalia's Lieutenant is probably the best card.
Yes.
You know, a card like Always Watching really good. The fact that it has really good removal like Declaration in Stone, or the ability to, you know, get evasive with Griff's Boon.
Well, even the extra card that you generate from this clue token from the Inspector, like, you know, if Tom just has another 1-drop cash in the clue, that's still a strong enough turn to keep the pressure on the opponent.
Mm-hmm. Here's Declaration in Stone, so now 3 clues are out there. I'm curious to see if Tom will ever actually have the time to use those, as there's a Canopy Vista there from Edwards, and he'll simply pass the turn back. So we go back over to Ross. He can't even attack because 3-man Inspector's a 2-3.
And you say, we'll see if he has time to use those. The only reason he wouldn't have time to use those is because he's just winning the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Harrison's not going to put so much pressure on him that he doesn't have time to cash them in.
Here's Always Watching. Sylvan Advocate is on blocking duty now, as Harrison Edwards does not want to take this amount of damage. Here's a Battlefield Forge that's going to tap for a mana. I think Tom's got a follow-up. It's another Inspector, which means a 4th clue. And we'll see if he's ever going to solve a clue this game, as Edwards will draw. Pitch up a copy of Oath of Nissa.
Yeah. This is it. This is why you play this deck,
yep.
Right? We see it just come out quick. It can almost ignore what the opponent's trying to do. The buffs are so efficient.
In the first game, when you're on the play, it almost feels like you've just won.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about humans. Gideon's going to make a Knight Ally. Tom is going to start by sacrificing a clue. He'll draw a card. Now he's just got to figure out how he can push through the rest of the damage here. And right now you've got a Dragon Hunter, that's a 4-3. You've got a 3-man Inspector. Actually, hold on. Dragon Hunter, 2, that's a 5-4. There's Always Watching.
Yep.
3-man Inspector, we're looking at a 2-3, so a 3-4, and then one of them is a 2-3. So all those creatures are better than the Knight.
They all come in. The Knight's just got to jump in front of the biggest guy here. And Harrison's not making a lot of progress here.
No.
You know, he even had that Declaration in Stone to 2-for-1 the opponent with clues that are still sitting on the board, and it's not close.
Yeah. He picked up another Declaration in Stone, but it's not going to save him right now. You saw Tom follow up with an Anointer of Champions, another Dragon Hunter. Declaration in Stone's going to take care of the 3-man Inspector, so 2 more clues. We're setting a clue record here, I think. There's 5. Now a Knight. And the follow-up is an Oath of Nissa. Edwards is going to kind of cast his last couple of spells here, but...
Yeah, to me this is kind of a mistake. It's clear he's just dead on the board. And he's just showing off more of his deck to the opponent. I think when he's playing this Super Planeswalkers deck, based on what Tom saw so far, it looks a lot like green-white tokens. And he could have just hidden the additional information.
Yeah, he's giving away a little bit of information by doing this. You see the attack. Some blockers, some damage is going to be dealt. Tom Ross is going to win game number 1 here over Harrison Edwards. White-Red Humans very quickly up a game over Naya mid-range. But those sort of information leaks are something that great players like Tom Ross picks up on.
Sure.
Now he knows that I'm against Naya. Now I kind of know to expect Nahiri. I'm going to know to expect to see something like Radiant Flames, probably out of the sideboard, just giving away a little bit of information about what's going on, where Edwards' his chance of winning that game, especially on Mulligan to 5, very low. So giving away a little info. There does Harrison. We'll see if it comes back to hurt him as we take a look at the sideboards here for both players. We'll start with Edwards and his 2 Secure the Waste, 2 Fiery Impulse, 2 Angelic Purge, a Crumble to Dust, a Planner Outburst, a Quarantine Field, 2 Silk Wrap, 2 Stasis Snare, and the aforementioned Radiant Flames.
So he's going to bring in a lot of this cheap removal. So the Fiery Impulse, the Silk Wraps, the Radiant Flames, and the Planar Outburst are all coming in for him. And on the opposing side, Tom has a lot of cards to slow things down, to fight through efficient removal.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Tom wants a sideboard. He's got 4 Needle Spires, 4 Reckless Bushwhacker, 2 Gideon Allies Zendikar, 2 Stasis Snare, Secure the Waste, a Grispoon, and a Silk Wrap. I mean, the first game was easy mode.
Yes.
And you have to imagine he knows he's against a Naya mid-range, Naya Planeswalkers deck. Does he need to have Reckless Bushwhacker here? I suppose it's a pretty effective tool. So is Needle Spires.
Well, that's just he's got this whole package where he can slow things down. You can bring in the Needle Spires, you bring in Gideon Ally of Zendikar. It gives him a lot more insurance against those sweepers. He's got the additional Griff's Boon, which gives him the evasion, which we're saying is just so good against the Planeswalkers. So we'll see if he wants to go with the whole package, slow down the deck a little bit, and generate a little bit more power in the later game.
Well, there are the options there for both players. They'll sideboard, shuffle up, and like I said, we'll very likely have time to bring him backup match, given how quickly Humans does get the job done and how quickly Tom Ross typically gets the job done. Though Harrison Edwards going to try to fight back here as he'll be on the play for game number 2. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the StarCityGames.com newsletter. It is your source for Match of the Gathering news, where you can get the latest on the SCG Tour, watch the SCG Tour Match of the Week, catch up on all the event results, read an exclusive Cardboard Crack comic, and receive exclusive deck lists and advice.
That seems very valuable.
It does. Now, we typically rotate people in that spot. We've seen Matthias Hunt, we've seen Ryan Overturf, and this month,
what kind of writers do you get to do this?
the very best, the most handsome and intelligent people we can find.
Who is this man that you're talking about?
Well, this month, in the month of June, we've got Craig Krempels, everybody.
Oh, I've heard good things.
I have. You did a nice little article about Storm recently.
Yeah.
In there. You're a big Storm fan of Legacy, huh?
I love it.
It's a pretty good deck.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to just sit down and cast all their spells on turn 1 and then walk away?
It's a tough deck, but it's a really good one. Go to StarCityGames.com/newsletter. Sign up for free. You're on the internet all day anyway, so you might as well read this while you're there. And you can learn some exclusive stuff from Craig Krempels, everybody. The man, the myth, the legend, invitational runner-up. That's you.
That was uncalled for.
No, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That is not an insult. That is just a fact of life.
That is true.
That's all that is.
That's okay. All right. I'm in.
Now, not everyone can win invitationals like Tom Ross, man.
He makes it look easy.
Yeah, he just wins 2 in a row.
It just shows up with just one casting cost creatures, whatever the format is.
Yeah, I mean, so
it used to be red ones, now it's white ones. Sometimes it's green ones.
There's this fun debate. It's minor, but who's the best player in SCG Tour history? As we take a look at Tom Ross's player profile here, it's between him and Jerry, I think.
Yeah.
Tom's got 12 open top 8s, 3 wins, 3 invitational top 8s, 2 wins, but his 2 wins were back-to-back. Jerry also has 2 invitational wins, though they weren't back-to-back. Last weekend, or 2 weekends ago in Atlanta, Jerry goes 15-0 through the Swiss, but Tom wins the tournament and knocks Jerry out of the tournament. So I don't know. I don't know which one's the better of the two. And it's just fun to get to watch him play, that's for sure. 5-time Louisiana State champion, used to parkour. He said he would do a backflip for me if I made the top 8 in Atlanta 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But then Jerry beat me in round 14 and Tom beat me in round 15.
You blew it.
And he was just like, so when we played in round 15 for top 8, he was just like, if I win, if I win, I'll still do a backflip. And I'm like, and then he beat me and he's like, you want me to do a backflip? I'm like, dude, I'm off it. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you do a backflip.
The pity prize.
Yeah, it's like, I believe that you can do a backflip. I'm completely off it, man.
He was just going to throw you some crumbs so you didn't feel so bad.
Yeah. It was a tough way to go. But, losing to probably the 2 best players in this tour history to miss top 8, that's all part of it.
Yeah, there's no shame in taking those 2 losses.
No, there's not. Frustration, sure. Shame, absolutely not. Tom going to be on the play here. It looks like Edwards is going to take a mulligan down to 6. So while he finishes shuffling up, we'll quickly talk about the StarCityGames.com YouTube page where you can go back and watch the replays of this tournament. You can go back and watch the replays of SCG Atlanta where Tom got the job done, along with Jerry's 15-0 there. Premium Archives. We've got Versus Series archives, unboxings, and some other specialty content. Can't forget about Commander Versus as well. YouTube.com/StarCityGames. Become one of over 90,000 subscribers. We're almost hit the 6-digit mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big mark.
If you get like 100,000 subscribers, you get like a badge and some other cool stuff that happens. We're trying to get there.
All right.
We're trying to get there.
I believe in us.
Yes, me too. Me too. We're excited. We're excited. Got some cool stuff coming down the YouTube pipeline as well. I think people are getting pretty excited about. So it looks like Edwards is taking another mulligan to 5. Doesn't bode well.
Yeah, this is so painful when you already have a tough matchup against Tom. Not just a good deck, but Tom Ross piloting the deck.
Yeah.
And you just take a bunch of mulligans. It's you kind of have to just throw your hands up in the air. What can you do?
Yeah, it does not bode well here for Mr. Edwards as he'll take a look at a couple of cards while Tom is sitting up in his chair looking at 7 cards ready to go. I wouldn't be feeling terribly confident. He will keep Will Harrison. He will scry. Top card goes to the bottom. We're underway here in game number 2. Edwards will start with an Evolving Wilds. Over to Tom. Probably has nothing to do on turn 1. Lucky to start with a Town Gossip Monger.
He drew one of his 20+ one drops.
Town Gossip Monger, a great way to start. Maybe the best 1-drop in this deck. I know Tom likes Anointer Champions a lot. Really good card in this deck. You've got Town Gossip Monger. You've got Kithian. The 1-drops in this deck, Dragon Hunter, Expedition Envoy. All good ones, but this one might be the best.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a turn off before it starts doing its thing.
Yeah.
But 1-drop 2/3 with Fire Breathing, no joke.
A Game Trail, and now Oath of Chandra. Going to take care of that. Pass the turn back over to Ross. A Plains. A couple of Knuckleheads. In Kithian and Anointer Champions. Back over to Harrison Edwards we go.
Yeah, and Tom is, he's happy to 1-for-1
all day
against an opponent that's mulled to 5.
Yeah. Here is a Nissa of Voices Zendikar, a plant on the way. And then we'll go over to Tom Ross. And we'll see what his 3rd turn brings. Oh, that's gas.
Pachoo!
I forgot about the Oath of Chandra text. Take a look.
Just fires off that extra shell.
You can deal 3. That's great. Begin or end step. If Planeswalker enter the only 2. Enter the battlefield under your control. Oath of Chandra deals 2 damage to target opponent. Nice. The value.
And in this matchup, that damage is kind of negligible.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of matchups where that actually matters a lot, especially if you can start going after opposing Planeswalkers.
Tom is always watching. And always watching in combination with Anointer Champions is a delight.
Yeah. Gets to pump himself.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little unfair.
So Nissa down to 1. Edwards will draw. You know, one of the things I always felt about humans was, you know, how well does it deal with a card like Sylvan Advocate? The green decks always have it on turn 2. It's a 2/3. It's got Vigilance. It's really annoying. But their creatures just get so big that Sylvan Advocate just isn't a problem.
Yeah.
It's really something. And that's all Edwards' cards. So he's drawn basically everything he can cast, and he's cast it all. You know, he's out of cards. He's just played a Sylvan Advocate. His Nissa's up to 2. He made a plant token. Declaration of Stone took care of Kithian. And now it's on Tom to see what can he do.
And it looks like he has brought in that package that I was speaking about, to slow things down a little bit.
Yeah.
Got Needle Spires and a Bushwhacker in his hand. Like we said, all the best red cards in Standard.
Found them all. Another Always Watching is going to go after Nissa. Is going to allow Anointer Champions, to go after Nissa. The plant token blocks very quickly. Tom plays Needle Spires, pass the turn back. What's this? Gideon. Does he have double white? I don't think so. No, he does not. No double white and no Oath of Nissa.
He's just showing off the cards in his hand.
Yeah, it's a good draw, but it's just not a castable one.
Hey, I've got this one.
So
you might have to deal with this later.
There's a plant and a passing of the turn. Well, at least Tom knows what Harrison Edwards has.
Well, we've all kind of been in that situation before, where your deck has Oath of Nissa. You can almost always cast all your cards whenever you want.
Yeah.
So when you peel that one, especially on the Mold of 5, it feels so good, and you slam it down, and then you're like, oh, no, like.
It's the wrong oath.
Yeah.
It's the wrong oath. Well, Tom does have Reckless Bushwhacker in hand. Let's see what this is. All right, so he's going to play Town Gossipmonger, Expedition Envoy, Reckless Bushwhacker.
Oh, man.
I think
He gets to attack with everything, still transform the Town Gossipmonger,
Yep. And using Anointer Champions.
and use the Anointer Champions.
And Reckless Bushwhacker is big because of, yeah, they have Vigilance, my man. Because they're always watching.
So
Yeah.
it looks like 3 are coming after Nissa, and 1's going after Edwards proper.
Yep. There's a quick block. Nissa down. All right. Yeah, Gossipmonger looks like it will transform now.
Yeah, 1 mana, 4/5.
Yep, no big deal. No big deal. There's Arlen Cord.
And this is just an example of what I spoke to earlier, where Arlen Cord just, it's not impactful enough when it comes down on turn 4.
It's so weird. The card is good, but it's not good enough, I guess. I think it's just wrong place, wrong time. Like, just not well situated for this format.
Well, the colors that it lines up in are not great right now. Red is just not a very strong color in Standard.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are playing red, it's not for a mid-game Planeswalker.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we see red come up in a lot of the ramp decks,
Yep.
which they're just going to go so much bigger, they don't care about a card like Arlen Cord.
Yeah.
And then we saw the mono red Eldrazi deck earlier. It wouldn't be interested in a card that's, as vanilla as Arlen Cord is for a deck like that.
Not right now, not
Yeah.
at all. Looks like Incited Rabble is going for Harrison. Everything else going after Arlen Cord down. Tom just keeping these Planeswalkers off the battlefield. And the nice thing here for Tom, too, is you take a look at the creatures.
Now, Harrison still had a whole boatload of life total here.
Yeah.
And he had some Wrath effects in this sideboard, a Planar Outburst. So potentially,
I was going to say Radiant Flames was going to be a bad draw, but Radiant Flames is actually still okay because he can deal 3 with it. And a lot of Tom's creatures have base power and toughness of 1.
sure, he would get 3 of those guys off of the board.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. Still can't cast that Gideon, though.
And it looks like a Stasis Snare in his hand as well.
Can't cast that one either.
Instead, when you mold the 5 and your 3 colors, you do not have a whole lot of resources to work with.
Tom now with a Gideon emblem, which means now these creatures are out of Radiant Flame range. And yeah, now it's getting a little easy. Just attack with everything.
Yeah, they were already so big.
Yep.
Now, I think the official term is ludicrous.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there now. There's the Gideon emblem. Anointed Champions will pump something. And always watching is just an exquisite card in these humans decks.
I think this is 20 points.
Straight up.
I
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, it's 20.
Yeah,
That's 20.
just-
You
just-
nailed it.
just 20.
Yep. 20.
Kind of ridiculous. The turn before, I'm like, oh, Harrison's still on 20, so maybe it's a turn or two to draw a White Source and a Wrath, and then it's just the next turn. No, 20 points, you're dead.
Yeah, and dead. Sorry about that. Tom Ross going to win this match here over Harrison Edwards. 2-0. White, red humans will take care of Naya mid-range, and for the boss, it's another victory with a strategy he likes quite a bit. He won in Atlanta, and he's looking to win here again in Orlando. Get himself qualified for the Players' Championship for a 3rd year in a row.